let's talk about food. Why is this so important and what outwitting the devil has to do with it? Hey, Kathie, Owen here, certified fitness trainer and mindset coach since 2002, transforming lives in magic fashion using Stop the Mind Screw process. And right now, we're in the middle of talking about fitness and mindset. And today we're going to talk about food and Outwitting the Devil, the book by Napoleon Hill. What have you been eating? This is a question and a common everyday practice as a certified fitness trainer since 2002. I remember the day I was training one of my clients. He's 70 years old, and all of a sudden his heart rate spiked on the middle of the elliptical. I had been training him for 8 years at the time, and I was like, whoa, this is kind of weird. And of course, he freaked out because his heart rate was getting up really high for his age. And I knew his heart was healthy, but at the same time, I knew something was off. I said, let's get off of here. Come on, let's go. So we sat down and we talked, and I said, okay, why is that? What did you have to eat before you came here? He was reluctantly told me he had a burger and fries and a regular Coke. Oh my God. Why? Because he was in a hurry and he needed something to eat. This is so common and I get it. I totally understand it. But I'm using this as an example for a reason. I also have another client who came to me and she was like, Kathie, I'm doing everything right. I don't know what's going on. I knew her workouts. I knew she was working her butt off. But I also knew we needed to look at her food. And I said, look, I'm going to put you on Myfitnesspal for just a week and let's see what your sodium content is, because that will really break you. Sodium acts as a little sponge and then it takes in all of the water that you get in your body. So your body starts going, whoa, it starts getting heavier. So picture this. Doesn't a heavy sponge weigh more than a light sponge? The answer is yes, because it's got more water in it, and sodium attracts water, and so it makes you become heavier. Sodium is in all kinds of things. It's in spices, it's in tastes of food, it's in everything you can think of, and we do not know how much sodium we're getting in our body. That sodium affects your heart rate, it affects your weight, it affects how you feel, and we also want to pay attention to how much sodium we're getting. I love Myfitnesspal because I told my client at the end of the week, I said, hey, we're going to look at how much sodium you have eaten. And sure enough, it was off the charts. And she was like, do you think that's right? And I'm like, yep, unfortunately, it's right. So what do? What's the answer to this, Kathie? Well, first of all, we need to become aware of what we're eating and why we're eating it. And then second of all, we can still have what we love. We just need to watch our portions. What I notice in this example and many examples like this is we do not know the effects of food on our body. And I think if people were more aware of the effects that the food have on their body, they would be more conscious of what they're eating and why they're eating it. So let's talk about this for a minute, because this is extremely important and extremely valuable to pay attention to. First of all, I'm going to go into Outwitting the Devil because unfortunately, it's probably going to scare you straight. But on the same time, I want you to remember that life is all about balance. We need to balance what we're having. We don't need to go into overload of these things. And if we're conscious of how they're affecting our bodies, well, we might just change how we eat. So now I'm going to read to you from the book where Napoleon Hill is interviewing the devil. I highly recommend listening to the book either on YouTube or buy it on Audible and listen to the book being read, because when Napoleon Hill talks, it sounds like a normal man. When the devil talks, it sounds like a scary guy. So Napoleon Hill asked this question. Go ahead and tell me more of the methods by which you cause people to drift to hell with you. The answer: I cause people to drift on every subject through which I can control independent thought and action. Take the subject of health, for example. I cause most people to eat too much food and the wrong sort of food. This leads to indigestion and destroys the power of accurate thought. If the public schools and the churches taught children more about proper eating, they would do my cause irreparable damage. Take the desire for physical food, for example. The majority of people are so weak in self-discipline, they fill their stomachs with the combinations of rich food that please the taste, but overwork the organs of digestion and elimination. They pour into their stomachs both quantity and combinations of food, which the body chemist can dispose of only by converting the food into deadly toxic poisons. These poisons clog and stagnate the body sewer system until it slows down in its work of elimination of waste matter. After a while, the sewer system stops working altogether, and the victim has what he calls constipation. By that time, he is ready for the hospital. Auto-intoxication, or body sewer poisoning, takes the machinery of the brain and rolls it into something resembling a wad of putty. The victim then becomes sluggish in his physical movements and mentally irritable and fussy. If he could only take one good look at and one bad smell of his sewer system, he would be ashamed to look himself in the face. City sewers are not the pleasantness of places when they become overloaded or clogged. But they are clean and sweet compared with the intestinal sewer when it has been overloaded or clogged. This is not a pretty story to be associated with the pleasant, necessary act of eating, but that is where it belongs because overeating and wrong food combinations are the evils that cause auto-intoxication. People who eat wisely and keep their body sewers clean handicap me because a clean body sewer generally means a sound body and a brain that functions properly. Imagine, if your imagination can be stretched that far, how any human being could move with definite purpose with his body sewer filled with enough poison to kill 100 people if it were injected into their bloodstream directly. Okay, so we need to pay attention to what we're putting into our bodies. And I can tell you, as a certified fitness trainer, since 2002, that I have watched so many people not pay attention to what they're putting in their bodies. Everything you eat, you need to ask yourself, how am I going to use this as fuel? If you ask that question before you even eat it, you can understand what it's going to do to your body. Now, myself, I love sugar. I love it, love it, love it. I eat cookies. They make me a big piece of the brownie, whatever they're having for dessert that day. They give it to me at work. And they know I love my sugar. But here's how I handle that. I know sugar is bad for the body. I know that. But at the same time, I don't overload on it. I don't sit there and eat it all day long. And if I do, I feel what the devil just talked about. I understand how that's affecting my body. So it's all about portion control and being aware of what you're putting in your body. Those two things, extremely important. I also practice Ho'oponopono on everything I eat before I put it into my body. And let me tell you something. I've noticed when I don't practice it or I forget to do it, I start feeling funky after I eat. And I'm like, that's what happened. I forgot to do Ho'oponopono. Now, you can sit there and say it's psychological. That's all fine and dandy. But I know it outwits the devil because Ho'oponopono is a forgiveness practice. And all it is these 4 sentences. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. Because I say that to my food, it's basically like a blessing on my food. And I tell you, I appreciate what you're giving me to put into my body. And I appreciate the sacrifice the animals may have made, the plants may have made. That may be a little bit overboard for you, but I'm just telling you that practicing Ho'oponopono over your food does do miracles. All right, so a question you may be asking right now is, why am I not on camera? Well, there's a good reason for it. because I have encountered an eye infection, and I don't know at the time of this video what it is, but my eyes are so swollen I can't even open them, and my right eye is so swollen it looks like somebody punched me in the face, or it looks like I've been crying for hours. And honestly, I feel great, but my eyes are just burning like crazy. And it's funny because I work at OcuSoft, I understand blepharitis, and I use all of our products. Perhaps I've used too much and the infection just got worse because the antibacterial properties of the products that I've been using are just overused. It's kind of funny, yes. But at the same time, I don't know what it is. I'm going to the doctor today at 4 o'clock and we'll find out what it is. In closing, I'd like to say the devil uses our food as a way to keep us from accurate thinking. What is accurate thinking? It is thinking with your higher being, your higher intelligence, your infinite intelligence, and accurate thinking is thinking properly. And I always like the scripture from Philippians, which talks about what we need to keep our mind on, and that is what we need to do. My point in even bringing this up is to keep your mind on accurate thinking, not to shame you because you eat all these things, because hello, I eat them too. And today's world, we have such delicious foods out there. I can understand how overeating becomes a problem. But when we start to think accurately, we look at our food differently. When we look at our food differently, we understand what it's for, how to fuel our bodies, and perhaps maybe order that great big meal, but take half of it home and eat it at a later time when your body can process it when it's not on overload. All right, that's my video for today. I hope you liked it. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so you never miss a video with Kathie. And until next time, I'll see you next time. Peace out and namaste.